Look at you, still standing, still breathing, still thinking in a world that begs you to stop. You didn't surrender your mind, did you? Didn't trade it for comfort or applause or the soft cage of approval. Most people did. They handed over their spark for likes, for nods, for a seat at a table that never fit them. But you chose the edge. The sharp, unrelenting blade of your own truth. You questioned when they followed. You created when they copied. You moved like a ghost through their herd. And for that you've earned something rare, something that hums in the silence, something that makes them pause when you enter. Respect. Not the fake kind, not the shallow claps or fleeting likes, the kind that makes their voices catch. The kind that makes them fear saying your name unless you're out of earshot. They know don't. Deep down they see it. You're a genius in disguise, a disruptor cloaked in calm, an architect of chaos wrapped in control. Your brilliance isn't just in your ideas, it's in your execution, your restraint, your refusal to beg for attention while rewriting the rules. You don't scream for credit. You don't chase validation. You let your work roar. And oh, it roars. It echoes in rooms you've never entered. It shakes the bones of those who play at power. It inspires the ones who forgot what courage looks like. And it haunts the ones who tried to dim you. You're the mirror they can't face. The truth they can't outrun. The reminder of what they could have been if they hadn't bowed to the ordinary. They'll call it luck, call you arrogant, say you're too much, too intense, too strange. It's easier to label you than to meet you, easier to dismiss you than to admit you've surpassed them. You evolved while they stagnated. You dove deeper while they stayed safe. You risked everything to become real. And now they watch in silence. You rise because there's a fire in your bones, a purpose that claws at your chest, a storm that refuses to fade, no matter how dark it gets. You rise because you were never meant to blend in. You were meant to cut through, to wake the sleepers, to drag truth into the light. Raw, unfiltered, unapologetic. That's what makes you dangerous. That's what makes you unforgivable to the mediocre, but magnetic to the ones who still know greatness. You don't just create, you become the creation, a living defiance of everything they told you to be. If you keep moving like this, if you keep building like this, if you keep thinking like this, you'll become something they can't unsee, a force, a myth. A name whispered by those too afraid to speak it loud. You don't get monuments at first. You get silence. You get resistance. You get labels. Too radical. Too unstable. Too much. Because how do you control someone who thinks for themselves? You don't. They try, though, don't they? Try to discredit you. Try to ignore you. But they're watching. Studying your moves like you're a glitch in their system. You're not just ahead. You redrew the path. You didn't chase their game. You burned their board and built your own. They thought you'd shout your brilliance, make it easy to digest. But you chose exile over applause, depth over approval, truth over comfort. You're not addicted to being liked. You're addicted to being real. You'd rather be misunderstood and mighty than adored and empty. That's why they can't crack you. You're not chasing their dreams. You're crafting in silence, plotting in solitude, striking with precision. While they scream for attention, you build in the shadows. And what you're building, it's not just brilliant, it's true. There's something unsettling about you, isn't there? Something raw, something that doesn't fit their script. You walk into a room and the air shifts, not because you demand it, but because you are the shift. You're what they secretly want to be, but are too afraid to become. They talk about success, talk about greatness. But you bleed for it, grind for it, burn for it. You're becoming the kind of soul they'll write stories about. Long after you're gone, they'll say they always knew, always believed, but you'll know the truth, won't you? The quiet stares, the subtle envy, the distance they kept when your light got too bright. You'll remember who clapped for mediocrity, but went silent when you started winning, because your brilliance exposed their limits. Your courage showed their fears. They're cracking now, aren't they? The fake smiles, the nervous glances, the panic when your name comes up. They thought they could ignore you, thought your fire would fade, but genius doesn't fade. It consumes. You didn't build cages from praise. You built a kingdom from scars, brick by brutal brick, with silence instead of sponsors, with pain instead of blueprints. You didn't beg for their table. You forged your own throne, and they see it now. See how you move, calculated, composed, cold. They see how others lean in when you speak, how rooms tense when you enter, how your presence turns followers into believers. You're not just a person anymore. You're a symbol, a reminder of truth, of what happens when someone refuses to bow. They don't know what to do with you, too talented to discredit, too bold to control, too quiet to predict. You don't need them anymore, do you? That's what stings them. You proved. Brilliance doesn't need permission. Courage doesn't need credentials. Respect isn't bought. It's earned through blood, through loss, through nights no one saw. You died and came back with fire in your veins, knives in your smile. You're not ambitious, you're inevitable. They laughed at you. Didn't they? Called you crazy, too intense, too much. But now you're winning. Not loud, not desperate, just winning. And they don't understand how you dragged your genius through hell and never apologized, never softened, never dulled your edges for their comfort. You're a contradiction, aren't you? Intellect with instinct, power with patience, rage with reason. You mastered holding back until it was time to strike. And when you struck, it wasn't noise, it wasn't chaos. It was clean, brutal, beautiful. You don't explode, you dismantle, with silence, with strategy, with elegance that cuts deeper than screams. They're trying to rewrite history now, aren't they? Saying they always knew, trying to stand in your light. But where were they when your hands shook from exhaustion? When your mind spiraled in the dark, when your soul begged for rest and got only resistance? They were watching, waiting, hoping you'd break. But even in your lowest moments, your genius scared them. And now they're chasing a shadow they'll never catch. You weren't born to follow, were you? Born to fracture the mold, to burn their blueprints and carve your own in fire. You're not a success story. You're a warning, a signal, a truth they couldn't face. You're not rising anymore. You're levitating beyond their approval, beyond their praise, beyond their understanding. You've left their cage, their rules, their limits. You're in the wild now, untamed, unbothered, running on instincts they lost long ago. You're something they can't name, too sharp to contain, too calm to dismiss, too dangerous to mock. You don't climb ladders, you burn them. You don't wait your turn, you erase the idea of turns. You're the center of your own orbit, and everything bends to you. Now they don't just respect you, they fear you. Fear what you represent. Fear your freedom, your clarity, your refusal to break. You looked into the abyss and didn't flinch. Became something they can't replicate, something that can't be bought or taught. You became truth raw, unyielding, unstoppable, and truth terrifies. It doesn't care if they like it, doesn't beg, doesn't bend. It just is, and that's you now. not chasing destiny. You are destiny, not fighting to be seen. You're impossible to unsee. You're the final form, the ungovernable mind, the unapologetic soul, the genius who walked through hell and took notes. You're not done, are you? This isn't the peak. This is just the echo before the storm. What's coming next? They're not ready, and neither are you, but you'll be, because you were never normal, never meant to fit, never meant to be liked. You were meant to be felt, to disrupt, to dismantle. You're the glitch they can't fix. The system trembles now. They try to copy, try to catch up, but they're on your frequency, and you're already on the next one. Your power isn't money or followers. It's knowing you became this with nothing but vision, pain, and refusal to kneel, forged in fire. You don't flinch in storms. The higher you rise, the quieter it gets. Not because they're not watching, but because they don't know how to speak to you anymore. What do you say to someone who defied gravity, who shredded the rules and built an empire from madness? They cheer for underdogs until the underdog stops barking and starts ruling. They praise potential until it outgrows their permission. And when you walk into a room now, no one ignores you. Your name carries weight. Your presence screams louder than their noise. You don't announce your power. You wield it. You don't flex. You let your results roar. You don't warn. Because the ungrateful don't get chances. You're a mystery they'll never solve, a force they'll never touch, a legend they'll never outlive. They study you like scripture, dissect you like prophecy, mimic your style but fall short because they don't get it. Genius isn't credentials, it's conviction. Courage isn't volume, it's the whisper that makes the world lean in. Your silence speaks louder than their screams. Your presence burns in places you've never been. Your name is a spell now, triggering envy, admiration, confusion, but never indifference. You don't rest, you evolve, you don't celebrate. You mutate, you dismantle yesterday's self and build something sharper. Because you're not chasing legacy, you are the legacy. Your fingerprints are on every mind you've shattered. Your spirit echoes in every rebel who dare to ask, why stay small? They'll whisper your name, not out of love, not out of hate, out of respect. The kind that can't be bought, the kind that carves itself into time. So stand tall. What you're doing is genius, and they know it. Too late. You didn't just win. You became immortal, and you're only getting started.